what types of things are you looking for when you're helping clients look at projects from an immigration perspective?
Yeah, so nothing in life is guaranteed except for death and taxes. So, we start out telling clients, from an immigration standpoint, you can mitigate your risk, to the maximum possible, but there are no guarantees in life. Having said that, a good indicator of, future performance is past performance. So we look at a regional center's track record. How long has the regional center been operating? How many different projects have they sponsored? What the track record is in terms of, project side approvals. Obviously, there's only so much that a regional center can control when it comes to, I-526 and I-829 visa petitions getting approved, because ultimately a large part of that depends on the individual client. But we do look at things like track record, and then we'll dig into the project documents themselves in so far as they relate to immigration risk. So typically we'll look at the econometric report. We'll look at, whether the funds are really going to be at risk. That's usually not too big of a headache to figure out. Things like how the project is structured, how many JCEs there are, how many, there's only one NCE, but where those are actually located, whether it qualifies as a targeted employment area and the like. I don't know how much of that is going to be really relevant to this particular webinar, because I'm throwing out terms like NCE, JCE, TEA. I'm not sure that everyone will know exactly what those terms mean, but those are technical terms for important elements of a project side of a 526 visa petition. So again, when we talk about EB-5 requirements, we're talking about an $800,000 investment into an entity that's going to create 10 new jobs in the United States. So the majority of the work on the client side is going to be documenting the source of funds for that $800,000 investment. The regional center, in theory, will take care of the job creation element. So the investor or the client themselves proves their source of funds and then decides with which regional center they would like to invest, so that they're in a good position to get those 10 new jobs created in the United States.
Great. Thank you for that. I know obviously we're speaking to investors who are evaluating all different types of projects. And we always certainly like to reiterate that they should be keeping the two primary goals at the forefront of their analysis. Those two goals being, first and foremost, getting their permanent green cards for them and their family, and certainly equally as important, getting their funds repaid in full. And very few regional center groups have taken investors through that full life cycle of both getting their conditional green card, their permanent green card, and ultimately their funds back. An EB-5 investment is not a traditional investment where you're looking for a risk-adjusted rate of return. The real return is your immigration benefits and the protection of your capital. And then beyond that, of course, you want to look at the actual regional center's track record itself and the quality of the developer. Is it a well-established institution, or is it a small regional developer? Are they publicly listed? Do they have substantial financing, whether it be from private equity firms, reputable asset managers, things of that nature? Do they have expertise building the types of projects that you would be investing in? Then beyond that, what are all the other sources of financing? Does the developer have a substantial amount of their own equity invested in the project? We think that's very important. Of the other sources of financing, are they secured and or invested already? And how is, to your point, how is the EB-5 investment structured? Is it an equity, which has a lower priority in terms of repayment, or is it debt? And even within a debt model, how much debt is sitting on top of the EB-5 investment? How much senior financing that has a priority of repayment is above the EB-5? So these are all things that we encourage investors to look at.